Welcome everybody to our second Carmella Masterclass, our virtual edition. Today we're going to talk more than just conversion rate optimization. So for everybody who tuned in for the Rocky Mountain Summit, I'm going to go even deeper. We're going to talk really concept to completion digital sales. So hold on to your hats. There's going to be a lot of tips and tricks in here. My intention is to give you some things that you can actually grab and get started with right away, as well as you'll be, this conversation doesn't end right now. You're welcome to continue asking us questions. We are here as a resource for you, okay? Right now, you are, you're all on mute, or you all should be on mute. So go ahead and mute yourself if you haven't already done that. In the bottom left hand of your screen, you will see a little microphone, and that should have a little X through it, or a little line, a red line through it. And that means that you are muted right now. Can everybody hear me okay? Yeah, thumbs up. Good, I'm seeing some nodding. So we're gonna use our chat for comments. Ali's gonna go ahead and post a comment in the chat right now so everyone knows where that is. Ali McPhail, who you also see listed as Stephanie O'Brien, she's my stunt double, the prettier version. She's our project manager, and she really keeps I'd say the wheels, the cart on the tracks, and everything moving forward. So she's a real taskmaster, and we couldn't do everything that we do without her help, for sure. This meeting is being recorded, and it will be available on YouTube. So if you do want to ask questions, have your video on, that sort of thing, you just be aware it is being recorded, and it will be posted later on YouTube. Now, here's the fun part. So somebody today is going to win a digital audit, or they're going to win 30 days worth of social media content, okay? And what that means is I want to see, we're going to be watching your engagement. Are you an active participant or a passive participant? So the more questions you ask, the more you get involved, the more you pay attention, the more chances you're going to have to win. You can win, or you can have an extra entry by posting a photo or a story of yourself during today's masterclass before noon today on social media. So that can be in a story or a post of yourself, and you'll have a chance, as I mentioned, as an extra entry. So just towards the end of this presentation, Ali will be announcing who that lucky winner is, and we'll be collecting your information. So my name is Stephanie O'Brien. For those of you who haven't met you, I think we're a pretty friendly group here. There are some people that I don't know though, so I'll just take a moment. I came to the Bow Valley in 1993 as a little ski racing athlete, and I like to say that I never really left. Now I'm raising a family here. I have a business here. I have two little girls. Their names are Carmen and Bella, and that's where the name Carmella comes from. And I really love living in the mountains. It really suits my personality. But the other thing that I really love about what I do is I get the opportunity to meet business owners and hear what their problems are. I get to hear their actual business problems. And then where we excel is in manipulating all of the possibilities in the digital space to come up with the right series of solutions to achieve that business goal, whatever that goal might be. So some people come in and say, we want more event registrations. Some people come in and say, I need more leads. Some people come in and say, I need more kindergarten registrations. Again, these are all things that we have helped with. And so we're going to talk a little bit about what our process is today. As I mentioned, Carmella, so we're a team of 8, basically 8 women right now. So women-led, women-owned, and we do have some contractors that are male that work with us. I also wanted to let you know that I have 2 screens that I'm looking at today. So if I'm looking over here or over here, you have my full attention, but it may just be split between two screens depending on what I'm looking at. I think that's enough probably about me. If again, if you have questions as we go, that does count towards your engagement. So just feel free to pop those in the chat. Because I only have two screens open right now, I do not see your questions. Ali will, she will field them for you, okay? All right, let's get started. So the 5 essential items that you need in every sales and marketing campaign, all right? Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of a disclaimer, and that is that with the pandemic that we're in right now, things are not just changing by the month or by the year, things are changing by the hour. And the advice that I might give you might pivot, and I might need to change what I'm saying again tomorrow. So as I mentioned, this is not something that I just is a set and forget. Like it's not a campaign that you can set it and forget it. We need to be very proactive and looking for where all of those secret little fishing holes are that we can cast a line into and really try to own that space. So we're gonna have our first poll here. Ali's gonna throw up the poll. Hopefully not really throw up the poll, but anyway, she's gonna put up the poll. And Ali, let me know.
Should be up now.
Is it up? Okay,
yeah.
So I'd like to know, are you wearing pants? Okay. So there's been a lot of people who've been doing the work at home thing, and I really want to see, you know, everyone's replies. We're going to get some live data here as well, as Ali is giving us the the notes.
Does everyone see? Can everyone see the poll pop up on their screen?
Looks like you've got 9, 10, 11.
So, yep, I'm getting answers on the side here. So I've got walking shorts, maybe, jeans, skirt. I dress up when I'm going to the office. No, absolutely. Shorts too, pants here. I got a naked.
If you're naked, please leave your video off.
I won't mention who that is. Some yoga pants.
All right. Well, I'm glad. Thank you. You know, it's business on the top, right? So as long as we can see that you guys are, you know, looking professional on the top, that's really, really important. I appreciate everyone who did put pants on for today. Maybe that's an extra point as well if you put pants on. Maybe 2 points if you put a skirt on. I don't know. Sorry, Cyril. I don't know if you wear skirts. Maybe Cyril's the one who has a skirt on.
Sometimes.
It looks like we have about 25 replies there. So, all right. So this approach that we're going to go over today, in 2019, this drove 35% more e-commerce revenue than it did when we used a more simplistic approach. So there's going to be some concepts we're going to discuss, and then I'm going to get into some of the tools that we use to actually do what we're talking about. So I want to talk to you a little bit about the path to purchase. And I am hoping to be able to draw. I wonder if I can draw on my screen. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to try to find I'm going to annotate. All right. Now, so the path to purchase, this is also called the buyer journey. All right. And so this looks a little bit different depending on what industry you're in. If you're a realtor, if you're trying to sell event registrations, but generally, can everyone see me drawing this circle right here? Yeah, just give me a hands up. Yeah, got it. Okay. So this circle is what I want to call your moment of inspiration. Okay. And this moment of inspiration, it could really be, it could be an Instagram story. It could be a chat with your neighbor. It could be a poster you saw downtown. It could be something you saw on the news. Like it really, the moment of inspiration doesn't have to be an ad. It could be something else, okay? But what happens from this moment of inspiration is you are sent on a journey, all right? And that journey generally leads you over to, look at that nice square, over to Google, okay? And in Google, you begin to do some searching. And when you're doing your searches, you're not searching for these fancy keywords yet. You're looking for very, very simplistic things. So I'm trying to think of a moment of inspiration. I wanted to set up, for example, a YouTube channel for Carmella. And my moment of inspiration is Lily, who's one of our staff, her YouTube channel, okay? And so this set me on a bit of a journey, and I wanted to think about what our niche was going to be and look at how many people are actually doing what we're doing in this space. I did my research. I looked at some Google reviews. I wanted to find out who else, as I mentioned, is doing what we're doing, how they're doing it, what keywords are they using. Is there space for Carmella here to own a piece of this niche? I'm not sure, yes or no, okay? So now before I move into what I call the moment of commitment, okay, so this is a moment of inspiration, this is a moment of commitment, I have some crucial concerns, okay? And before I move into this moment of commitment, I want to address these crucial concerns. And these crucial concerns are things like, how long is this going to take me? How much is this going to cost me? And is anybody going to care? So what? Is anyone going to actually tune in and watch? Does anybody want this information? Okay? Once I've answered this, I'm probably then ready to move into what's called the moment of commitment. And now I am in a true sales funnel, okay? Some realtors like to use essentially drip campaigns at this point. Events might, take an initiate checkout here and then try to move people further down the funnel. And I'm choosing realtors and events because I can see a realtor and an events management company kind of sitting in front of me. Some of you, I don't know exactly what you do. One of you I know is a Medi Spa, so we can talk to that point as well. And that would be, if this was looking at a Medi Spa as an option, this might be an Instagram story or a TikTok video. This might send me on a search of, I've had my brows microbladed before and I didn't like the outcome. So now what are my options? So the keywords that maybe you think that somebody might be looking for maybe aren't the same as someone who's uneducated in this area. I don't want to say dumb it down for people that are searching for you in Google, but please actually make it as simple as possible, all right? Make sure we address those crucial concerns before we start moving people into that moment of commitment. Then we've got them a bit in our funnel, okay? So that's what the path to purchase can look like. And that path to purchase, as I mentioned, sometimes is 7 days, it's 2 years. For example, and the other thing to note is that there are 50, I wonder if I can make a 5, 56 different attribution points along this process. What does that mean? That means that it might have been this particular point which sold that individual. It might have been this particular point that sold that individual. But again, you can't count the first attribution point or the last attribution point and ignore the other 55 of them in between. It was a process. You probably saw, you might have attended 5 or 6 master classes before this particular moment in time, but today might have been the push over the edge that you needed in order to actually reach out and set a meeting with one of us. So just remember, you've heard in the past that people need to see things 7 times before they actually remember that, before it really resonates with them. That number is actually 56, okay? It is not 7. So it's a much more complex sales process. I challenge you to try to draw this out for your company. I think it's a really fun activity, but I also think it's really challenging to do. So, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and erase my drawing here. Clear all drawings. All right, let's keep going. your the people who come to your website or the people who are digesting your social media, they're selfish. Okay, I'm selfish, you're selfish. They want gratification, glory, and admiration. Okay, so make sure that all of the content that we are creating is about them, and it's about how they're going to benefit. Okay, this is especially true for your ads and for your landing pages. Don't write we, or me. Okay, we's and me's, like no one wants to talk to you. We have a neighbor who lives just down the street, and every single time I say hi to him, all he does is he's like, I just went cross country skiing. I'm just gonna tell you that I went skiing at Whitewater. Like that's all he does. He never wants to have a conversation. He just wants to tell me about what he's doing. And in turn, like, we don't have great conversations. We don't have a great relationship. So again, but if I could flip that around and engage him and actually think about what he wants, which is probably that maybe he's needs to tell me all of these things. I didn't want to say he's lonely, but maybe, I don't know. So again, think of them as being selfish, and how do we really make sure that we are writing our content for our ideal client? So again, what does your ideal customer want? Let's make sure we're really focusing on that. Ali, I see lots of things popping up in the chat. Are there any questions in there? Oh, I can't hear you. Sorry, Ali.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear
you
you.
hear me now?
Yeah.
Perfect. It's just people popping up letting you know where they're from. So different retailers, O Cannabis Soapworks, Reiki and Health Coaching, and Elbow River Watershed Partnership.
What does Elbow River Watershed Partnership do? That's Mallory. What do you do, Mallory? Do you mind coming on and telling us a bit more about what you do?
You
just have to unmute yourself.
Oh, I can probably unmute.
I'm going to type it in the little chat box. Oh, here. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Elbow River Watershed Partnership is a nonprofit watershed education resource. So we're doing a lot of stuff catered towards the whole homeschooling thing that's going on right now. So education based on like your watershed and just trying to like an environmental stewardship organization.
Cool.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I did.
My internet connection sucks.
I know. It's I would say as well, if you don't mind sitting on hold for a bit, or if you have time and your provider is either Shaw or Rogers or whoever that might be. I know some people have contacted their internet provider and gotten a massive upgrade at no extra cost. So if you are working from home, I would encourage you to go ahead and do that, okay? So for the nonprofit organizations that are on this call, I think regardless of whether we're talking about sales or leads or subscriptions, I think, you're still trying to sell something. You're still trying to get people to either donate to your cause or to support you as a sponsor or to, donate to your endowment campaign or your endowment fund. There's still specific business objectives that you're trying to achieve. So if you can't visualize yourself in this process that I'm about to walk you through, please make sure that you grab one of us and we'll help you. So what do you really need to run a lead generation or sales campaign? You need an offer, you need a landing page, and you need ads. And we're going to talk about these three things. I do also believe that there are two more things that are critical to the success of either a lead gen or a sales campaign, okay? There's a few more things that I'll mention in here too, like pixels and that sort of stuff, but all right. So let's talk about an offer that makes sense. You have definitely seen an ad in, say, Facebook You've clicked that ad and you've come over to a landing page that does not match what you thought you were going to get at all. And therefore you left. Okay. So making sure that your verbiage and your offer are exactly the same in your ad as well as on your landing page. Okay. When people first arrive on your landing page, you have about 7 seconds to kind of garner some trust and authority. So for them to figure out who you are, what you do, and what they need to do next. You have not earned the right to ask for a sale yet. Okay? You have to establish trust and authority. And your offer, if it's free, it's easier to break through that barrier to entry, but it's way harder to get commitment. Okay, so if you have a free event, it's a lot easier to get a massive number of registrations, but there's going to be 25% of your individuals that are not going to show up on race day. So I want to put it out to the chat. I want to know, how do you establish trust? So in a single post or in a, you know, on a landing page, how do you or how would you establish trust? You can add your notes in the chat. Ali, if you see any popping up, can you just share?
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. We've got honesty and transparency. Authentic.
Mm-hmm.
Communicate authenticity, track record, previous participation, testimonials.
Yeah, good one. Testimonials.
We've got hook, info on author, reveal value, leads to read more.
Mm-hmm.
Good photos and similar content to the ad. Sending personal emails with promo code. Stories of successful activities and cookbooks of how to.
What about humanizing the brand? So if I put my face, or if I put some way that you can see that I'm a real person, you know, does that add trust? Would you say? Yeah, probably. Donna's giving me thumbs up. So just a reminder, at this point, we still haven't earned the right to ask for the sale yet, okay? When we talk about sign up for a, buy a, or learn more, these are some of the most heavily researched calls to action that that people like. There's a ton of data out there and a ton of literature on what you should be using for your actual call to action. However, making someone feel safe is kind of the first thing you want. So instead of someone buying now, the option to learn more is often a safer option. And you'll find you might get a higher engagement rate with a softer call to action, okay? So we're going to talk about this when we talk about split testing, okay? So when you are building your ads, as well as when you're split testing your landing pages, and I'll show you how to do all that really easy, you might want to just try playing with this text a little bit, okay? So we're going to talk about landing pages first, okay? So the first thing again was an offer. Now we're going to talk about landing pages. So when you're building a landing page, you want to make sure that you're split testing. And you might have, or we have, 80 different changes that we want to make on a landing page. We might use 3 or 4 different iterations of a particular landing page. We are going to walk you through, we're going to use a tool called Unbounce this morning. That's Unbounce. And I'll show you what that looks like. I built a landing page. I've never built a landing page using Unbounce before, and I did it in about 20 minutes, okay? So it wasn't wasn't scary at all. It walked me right through it, gave me cues of what to put where, and I'll tell you about that, okay? These 80 different changes that we're making, they are things like putting an image next to a button to draw the reader's eye over by that button, okay, to encourage people to click on that button. They are moving the button around on the page, trying different places, using heat mapping to kind of see where the eye is going, where the mouse is clicking. Am I good to keep going, Ellie?
Yep, we have a question. Would you mind defining what an offer is?
So go back to the offer. Sure. So your offer, let's say that we're a therapist of some sort, okay? And that therapist of some sort is gonna offer a free 30-minute assessment with every person who fills out the landing page, okay? Or fills out the contact form. So again, this process, maybe what I'll do is I'll just take a step back for a second, and I'm just gonna take 2 seconds and explain. When you're building a campaign, whether it's a sales campaign or a lead generation campaign, the process kind of looks like this. People move from an ad to a landing page where they complete a piece of action, like filling out a contact form. That information goes to your inbox, okay? And then it becomes your job to follow up with that individual immediately. So that information is now in your sales funnel, okay? I'm gonna now continue on. The offer, again, it might be, as I mentioned, for a realtor, would have to depend on what your brokerage would allow you to do. So we could dig into that a little bit further, because I think every brokerage is a little bit different. But I've seen some brokerages in the US offer the opportunity to win a trip to Vegas. But the idea with a real estate company or a brokerage is that the entire brokerage has to have the exact same offer. So if you were running a, buy a house with us and, we'll send you to Vegas for free, it needs to be brokerage wide. So, okay, so let's go to the landing page for a second. It needs to have a USP, that's a unique selling proposition, and a very clear statement. That is your competitive advantage. So why would somebody want to even bother doing business with you? It needs to have a headline and supporting headline. It needs to have a hero image. Benefits, so hopefully 3 features and 3 benefits. It needs to have a strong call to action and should have some form of social proof, okay? I want, when I arrive at the landing page as a consumer, what I'm doing is, again, that 7-second test, and I'm asking myself these questions. Do I trust this person? Do I like what I see? And do I want to go any further? Do I trust this person? Do I like what I see? Do I want to go any further? All right, so here we go. I'm gonna just walk you through this. Should work. Here we go. Okay, so here you can see my logo. Okay, I put the Carmella logo up here, and then right below it, I've got 6 to 10 words why Carmella is awesome, or why you would consider working with Carmella. Okay, this is my verification piece, my phone number. That's some trust. There's a call to action here. I've got a main headline and a secondary headline here as well. I have another call to action. I've got 2 calls to action here because that's really important. It does match that first one. There's the second call to action. Now I've got some people who've used my services before, just to add some verification. I have a mission statement of my ultimate value. That's that competitive advantage. And look, here's the key benefits and the offer. Okay, so the benefit and the offer, there's 3 of them. There's another one right there, okay? And there's the key benefits. Here's a closing reminder of your offer with a strong call to action again, okay? So that's really what it looks like. That call to action at the bottom of the page matches the one on the top again. Okay, so this is my landing page, and my content here would also perfectly match exactly what was on my ad as well. Is everybody still with me? Okay. All right. So this was my 20-minute attempt at a landing page. Okay. And what I did is I built a little landing page here using, as I mentioned before, Unbounce. And this page would be stacked on top of each other, but I wasn't able to kind of export it in a way that I could do that. So I thought I would put it this way to show you. So you see my logo, you see kind of my, my offer, want a website that converts traffic into sales. Yes, you can do that. I need to have a clear understanding of who I am. I want people to have a clear understanding of who you are and what you can offer, an offer that your audience wants, and a clear call to action. I'll show you the mobile version as well. I had to optimize the mobile version separately on my own, so I had to move the logo to the middle. I had to center justify the text, and I think that's all I had to do here to make this, to get this perfect. So now we have a poll. It's actually a little bit more of a test. All right. So Allie's going to go ahead and launch that poll, and I'm going to put it back to the mobile version for you.
Steph,
Okay.
the polls don't pop up for everyone.
Oh,
They always have to answer.
Oh, okay.
No, unfortunately
Okay.
not.
That's fine. Okay, so I'll go over it. So in the chat, if you could please tell me, what did I forget? There's 3 things, and Ali actually pointed out a 4th one this morning that I forgot when I was building my landing page. So go ahead and pop that in the chat, and let's see what you think is actually missing here.
So I see success stories, social proof. These are the responses coming in, Steph.
Yep. There's no trust factors, is there?
Customer review, supporting statement, trust.
That's right.
Phone number.
Did you get a funny one, Ali?
Sign up, learn more. No, I haven't. I'm just waiting. A call to action. That's that was the main one.
Yeah, that was the one Ali pointed out. She was like, Steph, there's no call to action. I was like, oh, you know what? You're right. So, I definitely rely on the strength of my team. I'm good at some things, but I definitely think that collectively together we're an awful lot better. And definitely they're better at a lot of these tasks than I am, for sure. So anyway, but I had fun. It took me 20 minutes. I did it. So, all right. So I also want to just mention, some people want to build a landing page on their current website, which is an okay idea. But the one thing I want to tell you is, please don't use rotating banners, okay? They are conversion killers. So you know what I mean? You come to a website and you've got an image, and then it scrolls to the next image and scrolls to the next image and scrolls to the next image. It's too much information, okay? That causes a much higher bounce rate. That also, it just kills the conversion rate. So making sure that we have a main hero image that is static, but also tells that really authentic story. And then if we want to integrate video, we need to make sure that we know why we're integrating video and how we're integrating video as well. So barriers to entry. I might call on Joey O'Brien, that's my dad, to talk a little bit about barriers to entry here as well. He's got some good success stories where he's had removed the barriers to entry. So not quite yet, Dad, but I'll put you on the spot in a few minutes and get you to talk about barriers to entry. First, I'm going to define what I'm talking about. So whenever we're removing a sales, or sorry, whenever we're having a lead or a sales campaign, we want to remove as many of the barriers to entry as possible. Some of those barriers to entry can be in price. Some of those barriers to entry can be in location. Some of those barriers to entry can be in your contact form. I had to fill out a contact form yesterday for a webinar that I wanted to attend. It was an accounting webinar, and I had to confirm my email address 3 separate times. I had to write it in 3 separate times, and I have a long email address. First of all, my name has like, I think 9 letters, which, thanks Dad, it's long. And then my business name is carmellaconsulting.com. So I had to type all that out again and again and again. And, you know, I just really wanted to have a short contact form. Okay. So I did not enjoy that process. And I almost decided that it wasn't worth it to me to have to actually take this webinar. And I know that sounds crazy, but you know what? I could have found that information probably somewhere else where I didn't have to fill out the form 3 times. So with all of that said, I'm off my soapbox now. All right, I'm back over here. So here's a little video. I'm hoping the sound comes through. Do you have sound? All right, so here's a great idea for some of you. This is a lead generation campaign that we ran for Curling Canada. We ran seven campaigns, 7 lead generation campaigns for them so far over 2 years, okay? And what we did is we worked with each of the curling clubs. Some of the curling clubs, one of them was, say, downtown Montreal. Another one was rural Ontario. Another one was the Canmore Golf and Curling Club. Another one was like northern kind of Alberta-ish area. So a real mix of urban, semi-urban, and rural for the curling clubs. And we worked with the curling clubs to create a free Try Curling event, okay? And then what we did is we set up an Eventbrite page with the Try Curling event on it for them. And then we ran Facebook ads to this particular curling event where people could register for free. All right, so let's say we had 200 people that would register online for the Try Curling event. We would confirm and find out that, you know, several, probably close to 20% of those people weren't going to attend anyway. They just thought it was a cool event to sign up for. So then we would, you know, open the registration again and let a few more people in. Then we would host the event, the Try Curling event, and the goal for the curling club was to get people to move from Try Curling into a Learn to Curl program, okay? And eventually become curling club members. And what we saw over the course of 2 years is these events, you know, we would have anywhere from 40 to 200 people, depending on the size of the curling club and the number of sheets of ice that they had, turn out for these events. And the success story is we had a 25% core conversion rate for membership. So this approach, using Facebook ads to find new members, works. One of the tricks that we did here is when we ran those Facebook ads, we did not set curling as one of the interests that people would have already had for, like, as our audience. So when we were building our audiences in Facebook, we did not say that they already knew anything about curling. We removed that completely because these are people who've never curled before, and we wanted to bring them in and give them a new experience. And as I said, it works quite well. So I'm hoping we get to continue doing this with Curling Canada in an ongoing fashion. So barriers to entry. I kind of got up on my soapbox earlier and talked a little bit about the information that you need to collect on a contact form. What information do you really need? Do you need their mailing address? No. Do you need their age? No. Like, what do you really, really need there? You need a name, you need one email, and you need a phone number. And that's it, okay? And if you don't intend to email them, then you don't even need the email address, okay? When you get a lead, the most important thing is to pick up the phone and call that individual immediately, okay? That will increase your conversion rate significantly. So when that lead comes in the door, it's really, really important. Again, you don't email them, because emails, like, they just sit there, but you call them. Now, those people that you're calling, if you wait 24 hours, okay, they might forget that they ever filled out that contact form. And that happens, okay? But again, it's really important you call them. Give before you get. So I really also believe that it's very important to give helpful information. Sharing knowledge without expectation. So if you are a service-based client, Cyril's a great example of this. You know, he does website development, and Cyril always tries to give before he gets. So making sure that you're giving away knowledge without expectation, that you have white papers that people can access and download, and they don't have to give you an email address, a name, a phone number to access those white papers, okay? You want to become a thought leader in your industry, and you want to become the #1 place that people keep coming back to in order to get that information, because it's so easy to find, and they always get helpful information that they can apply in their businesses right away. So how are you, as a business owner, going to give before you get? Barriers to entry. Don't let visitors think. Sometimes when you come in, I wonder if I can draw again. Let's try this. Sometimes when you come in to a website, you have 5, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to draw 5 boxes, but you might have 5, let's just make X's instead. You might have 5 different options, okay, for people to come in. And this is too much. And what happens is people come in and they see this long list of products, or they see these 5 options, and they're like, whoa, this is too much for me to deal with right now. I'll come back later. Or I've got a long contact form or a long survey that I have to complete, and it's going to take me too long, and I'll come back later. Okay, and then I never come back. That's the other thing. So let's make it really simple. All right. When we come to a website, it's nice if you, on your, on your landing page, you just give them 2 options. One is the I'm feeling more committed, and I've already been here before. I already know about this business. I know what I'm looking for, okay? And this might be that I've never been here before. I don't know what I'm looking for, and I don't know if I trust these guys yet. So this might be a link to your portfolio, a link to, your success stories. This might be, again, more trust pieces over here. And this might be your true call to action. By playing with the positioning of these 2 buttons, which goes on the left and which goes on the right, you can also change and increase the frequency of the conversion here. The other thing I forgot to mention about, I'm just going to take a step back and talk about unbounce one more time, sorry. You can replicate your pages very easily in unbounce. And when you're in unbounce, that's the landing page example. Sorry, I'm totally all over the map right now. I just don't want to forget anything because it's so important for everybody. When you're in unbounce, if I just go back to that particular page, you can replicate, I won't go back. You can replicate that page and then just make the one change you want. You can replicate the page again and make the one change you want. So if you have a page built that you're happy with, but you want to play with button color, or you want to play with the wording, again, you're just going to replicate the page, and then you're going to change what that button might actually say. Before we go to ads, sorry, go ahead.
Steph, sorry, I'm going to just cut in. We've had a question here.
Yep.
Which website do you use to gather online registrations? Facebook, Google, or your bus web?
Online registrations, I would use Eventbrite. or I would use, like you can build contact forms using Unbounce. I don't know if that answers your question or not, but event registrations, I think Facebook, it's way too easy to say you're going to something and there's no accountability. People do that as a sign of support. I don't think they actually intend to register. Does that answer the question? Joey O'Brien, do you want to add anything about how you've removed barriers to entry in the past?
Well, we talk about ski business,
Yeah.
solar, carbon credits, which?
Oh, let's talk about the ski business. So my dad has a really bad habit of restarting dead ski resorts. And did something really cool in Eastern Canada, probably 25 years ago, I would say, but it's still in practice today. So I'll kick it over to you, Dad.
Are you referring to the radio spots?
No, the $99 pass sale.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. All right. So I had been, for the better part of 15 years, juggling between what is the correct price point of a season's pass versus the day ticket and the relationship between the two. And then where do you get to the partial days? And I came across this interesting piece of research that was backwards, but it triggered something. And it was a small Midwestern US resort that had chosen to start selling seasons passes at a particular price point, and the numbers exploded and the economic model completely turned upside down, and it was far more sustainable. What they hadn't figured out that we spent time getting behind was we figured out, because we had this research, what is the desired number of days of utilization in our marketplace of our guests. And that number, in fact, is known throughout the industry, and it's geographically different, and it's based upon whether you're COP or Lake Louise or something else. Once we understood that, we priced our seasons pass at the top of the bell curve of desired days relative to the day ticket price. And this was in the 90s. And the result was we took our business and it grew by 70% in 3 years.
Wow.
The piece that was interesting in all of this was that the average person, when they visit a ski resort, is okay with opening their wallet 3 times. If they've already bought their season's pass and all the other hard costs in September or some earlier date, when they come to the ski hill, they don't seem to hesitate to buy at retail, get a dessert with dinner, have a beer at the end of skiing. So our incremental spend per season's pass holder went way up. The other piece of that was because we had balanced our model, we had no slow days. In fact, our busy day cycle was Saturday, Tuesday, Friday, Sunday in terms of busyness. There was no slow days, there was no busy days, it was all balanced. Now, unfortunately, I sold 12 times the capacity, the one-time capacity of the ski resort in seasons passes. So if they all showed up, the lineup would go down the road and around the corner. So we had to develop a way of shedding traffic so that we never got to those crazy points. So we concurrently also developed a way that any guest could redeem their day ticket on a live period of time to the very minute for the remaining value. And then we placed lineup points in lineups that reminded them, oh, you're in a 5-minute lineup, you're in a 7-minute lineup, you're in a 10-minute lineup. The result was people pre-established in their mind that even on a Saturday, when the lineup gets to 5 minutes, we're going to bail. They'd go there, they'd do their thing, and then when they'd walk in, they wouldn't just walk into, let's say, the ticket counter. They'd go to the restaurant, the bar, or the rental shop, or whatever, hand over their ticket, say, I want the remaining balance. We always gave the remaining balance in cash, and they always went up to the food service and bought road snacks, and then drove home.
That's really cool.
So we never had crazy lineups, but we grew the business by 70% by eliminating the number one barrier that people have, which is, am I going to get value from this purchase?
Cool. Thanks, Dad. Appreciate it.
No problem.
That was a good story. All right, let's talk about ads for a second here. So we use a tool called Ad Espresso by Hootsuite, okay? And what we do with these ad campaigns is we will develop a few different videos. We'll develop a few different pieces of copy. We will develop a few different calls to action, and then we plug them into this tool. And what we get is basically it will cross-populate every possible variation of this ad, and we will launch, say, 4 campaigns. You can see my screen, I'm drawing on my screen, and about 160 ads. And then within a few $100s, we start to figure out, okay, it's this video, this copy, this call to action are creating a conversion with a particular audience, okay? We have a full-time media buyer, and he does this. This is his job, basically. He spends every single day in here optimizing all of this for conversions. So I'm going to show you what you're looking at here. We spent $1,000, okay, and we got 421 clicks on this particular ad, which was a Facebook ad, okay? Then what we spent was essentially $2.37 per click, 400 clicks at $2.37, okay? But of those people, 59 of them filled out the contact form. So 59 leads were sent to this individual's inbox, and our cost per conversion was about $17. So if you think of your lifetime value of your client, is it more than $17? Probably, right? So yeah, you know, some of our clients might spend $130 here on their cost per conversion. But if their lifetime value of a client is $30, $40, $50, $60, $70,000, you know, that $130 that you spent, it was well worth it. Or in this case, that $17 that you spent, that was probably damn worth it, right? So that is great. The other cool thing about Ad Espresso that you'll see in here is you have this little button that basically says start optimization. And this software will actually begin to prompt you, turn off this ad, turn off this ad, turn off that ad. Now there is, as I mentioned, there's an art and a little bit of a master of your craft here, because for example, when we were running those Curling Canada campaigns, the ads prompted us to, sorry, I'll just clear all my drawings. There we go. The ads prompted us, or the software prompted us to turn off all of the ads that were serving to females. So currently the ad campaign, it wanted us to stop serving the ads to females because the males were converting at a much cheaper rate and a much higher rate. So cheaper and more conversions. However, if you went to a curling event and there were only males at the curling event, it might not be a great event, right? We might not have had that 25% core conversion rate. So again, making sure that you use your brain a little bit too, and that's why we need that one capable human in order to make sure that all of these changes that the software tells you to do are smart. So the 5th point today we're going to talk about is leverage. So who will share your message? Who will promote your offer? Are you going to use influencers? And how are you going to build relationships? Okay, it's not enough to just post your ad or your social media post. You need to go a step further, and you need to actually be social in social media or actually drive engagement on your offer. Okay, it's very, very, very important. So what I want to do is I want to summarize for you. Ali is going to be right now, I see 99 comments. That's pretty damn amazing. I can't read any of them right now, but Ali's going to be analyzing all those comments and determining who's our winner, and she's going to come back to us in a few minutes. Go ahead,
Steph,
Ali.
and Before you summarize, we have a question, and Cyril kind of touched on it with a great answer. Do you build your customer base first and sell, or do you sell first and gather contacts through sells? And Cyril had said that there's warm leads and cold leads. I thought maybe you could touch on that as well.
Let's see if this answers the question. So when when I build an ad campaign, I know exactly who I'm going after, and I know what audience I think is going to convert, and I know what creative is going to cause them to convert, and I know exactly what I should say to that individual in order to get them to convert. Excuse me. However, my media buyer, he challenges me every single time I do this. And he says, why would you limit yourself to one tiny little fishing hole when you could fish the whole ocean? So if I am selling houses in Canmore, why would I only target Calgary? Why would I not open it up to all of Alberta so that I could, or all of Western Canada? So I am not eliminating that individual who lives in Comox who actually wants to move to Canmore. And the reason for doing that is you start with a big fishing hole and then you start to work your way down. So again, I'm going to say, I want to use this super specific copy and this super specific audience and all of this. And my media buyer says, whoa, we'll get there, but we're going to start big first. And we're going to work and we're going to use data and insights to actually guide our actions. So instead of speculating what we think we should do, we're actually going to go ahead and start the other way. And there's a few times that I've actually been wrong, where I've said, you know what, we're going to do this beautiful video and it's going to do amazing. And my media buyer will put a black border across the top and a black border across the bottom with like a couple of really ugly emojis, like click here, and it's pointing up and pointing down. And then we run that split test, right? So we create 2 ads that we think that are gonna work, and he creates the third one that he thinks is gonna work. And what do you think actually happens? It is definitely that one that has the emojis on it that is converting at a higher rate than this beautiful video. The other thing that's working is memes, right? Memes are working right now. So for Curling Canada, we used a Simpsons video where Homer takes Marge curling for the first time, and that converted way better, especially with the millennial crowd, than anything else that we had going. And then I think the second part of that question was, would you use this for doing market research, or would you build your audiences first? And I think that it depends on the industry. So yes, you could use this to do research to find out, what's converting. I think it depends on how new your business is. Do you know what your offers are? Do you know what your minimum viable product is, and all of those sorts of things? So I think that's a bigger question that would probably require a bit more content. Did I answer what they were looking for, Ali?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, I think I just stepped away to put everyone's name in a hat and draw.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm just gonna summarize. Okay, so for a successful lead gen campaign or successful sales campaign, you need an offer, you need a landing page, you need to remove the barriers to entry, you need awesome ads, okay, that are split tested, and you need leverage. All right. So maybe that leverage is another nonprofit organization or a provincial sporting organization. Who knows what it might be? Okay, but there's lots of options out there. I wanted to give everybody a thank you for today. So if you just want to go ahead and grab a screenshot of that. Basically, this is a $250 gift card that you can use at Carmella. Okay, so thank you for attending our masterclass today. I wanted to make it worthwhile for you to be here, and I really, really appreciate all of you tuning in as well. Right now, Google reviews are not working, so I would ask you to leave me a Google review for the Carmella Consulting if you enjoyed today's masterclass. I have a feeling that there's just, I think they're gonna pop up. So if you wanna go ahead and leave a Google review, I'm not gonna get it right now. I'm not gonna be able to reply to it. But when it does pop up, I will reply to it. And I imagine that will happen after the pandemic is over. So, if you did enjoy today's session, feedback would always be appreciative, and Ali will distribute a survey at the end of the workshop as well. I'm losing my voice. All right, here's the most exciting part. Questions. Okay, let's do it. I'm ready.
I'll read them as they come through, Steph. One of them is, how do you do this with minimal budget, and can you run ads for free?
No, you can't. You can't run ads for free. So the costs. Unbounce, the cheapest package is, first of all, it's a Canadian company, but it's in US dollars. So thanks a lot, Unbounce. Don't love that, but they do offer a pretty amazing tool. And there are other options out there. Lead Pages is another one. Unbounce is going to end up costing us just over $100 Canadian a month. At Espresso, it's based on how much you spend. So if you spend more than $3,000 a month on ads, then you need to be in a different package, which is about 200, I think it's 167 US dollars per month. If you spend more than 10 grand a month, it's higher. So that's another cost. The human cost. So the probably number of hours per week, call it 20 hours a week, it takes to monitor all of these ads, make sure they're running. Another trick that you should put in the back of your hat is that you can set a daily budget so that you don't blow through, say, $1,000 or $100 really quickly and suddenly go, oh my God, where did my money go? But you should never actually set your full budget. Don't tell Google and Facebook what your full budget is. They will prioritize ads that don't have an actual budget for the full campaign ahead of ads that just have a daily budget, because they think that particular budget, if it's an ongoing thing and they give you success, that you'll just keep spending, right? So more costs. Facebook, right? So Facebook ads are much cheaper for driving leads. But if you go back to that, remember we talked about the moment of inspiration that sends you on a trip to Google, okay? This is your Facebook or Instagram ad or post over here. Now you're over in Google. So, if someone's in Google actually doing research and they see an ad right at the top that answers all their questions, they might click on it. So your traffic that comes from your Google ads, while it is going to be more expensive, okay, that traffic may be a higher conversion rate or a more valuable conversion rate than what you might get from Facebook or from Instagram. And so costs are your landing page, costs are your Ad Espresso tool, costs are your Facebook ads, and costs are your human cost. Did I miss any, Ellie?
Nope.
Okay.
I think you've answered that question. We do have a few others.
Okay.
Let me know.
Yeah, I'm ready.
So one is similar to the pricing. Can you give us an idea on price ranges for this service you offer, running ads and campaigns?
So it's going to depend on what your goals are as a business, right? If you tell me you want to target all of the US, your cost per click or your cost per conversion is going to be cheaper because you have a bigger fishing, you can't see my hands, you have a bigger fishing hole, right? If you are focused on just Canmore, your cost per conversion or cost per lead is actually going to be higher because your pool is so small, right? So your ability to get leads is still there and it still works. It's just going to be more expensive. Right now, with the coronavirus, we're seeing cost per lead down about 60%. So people are not dumping, they're actually conserving their ad budgets because they don't really know what to do. And so I feel like anyone who is running ads right now is probably doing pretty well. I'm ready for another one, Allie.
We do have a website, but we haven't built the sales section. How to do it without breaking the bank?
That's a big question. What are you trying to sell? Do we know?
Retail, clothing store.
Okay. So maybe, Allie, we could send that individual the masterclass on how to build a e-commerce site using MailChimp, Shopify, or Squarespace. So on April 2nd, we had Jackie and Haley actually go through and create a series of different e-commerce stores. And we are, that content I think might even be already up on our YouTube page. So we'll be able to share that link with you, and I can answer that question in a really detailed fashion and actually just give you the step-by-step on how to do it.
I'm interested in that link as well. Perfect. I've got another one for you.
Okay.
Concerning timing and the COVID virus, when the economy restarts, what actions versus timing should we consider?
I don't have those answers. I don't know. I think that now is the time to position yourself in your market. I know that 4 weeks ago, we took some steps, right, Allie? We took some steps to make sure that we were positioning ourselves to not only still be here, but to be successful and make sure we are attracting the types of clients that we want. Going forward, I don't know how long this is going to go on for. I expect until July, personally, but I wouldn't be surprised if we're here until September. My daughter turns 5, and she's telling me in 15 days. And I'm pretty sad that we're not going to get to have a birthday party for her as a 5-year-old. I think a 5th birthday party is a pretty memorable event. And I'm pretty sad. I'm pretty sad about that. I'm sad about all the kids that don't get to have, time with their friends and things like that. So I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question. If I do ever figure out the answer, I'll let you know. I know there's stuff you can do right now to position yourself, but I don't know.
One more. What are your thoughts on TikTok and how to bring that into mainstream businesses like real estate?
I love TikTok. I closet watched, don't tell my husband, I closet watch TikTok when I'm on the bike, on the trainer. I just watch terrible videos and then I share them with my team, the funniest ones, and they think that I have the sense of humor of a 14-year-old boy, which I do. So I think TikTok, so they're beta testing their ads right now. They have a lot of functionality built in. They do not have any of the layers of figuring out conversions and stuff like that say Facebook and Instagram have already figured out. You have a huge opportunity. TikTok is really for amazing things or for funny things. Okay, if you want engagement, it's a great way. You don't need any followers in your account at all to have a video go viral. If you see something amazing or something beautiful, like what's right outside our window here, again, you can start to position yourself as a helpful or something funny or, something amazing. Can you walk on your hands? Can you walk up, whatever it might be, right? What's the place in real estate? I think that people are starting to define their space in real estate using TikTok. I also think making TikTok videos and then sharing them on other platforms, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or even LinkedIn, is a great option too. It is content that people are not necessarily expecting on Instagram stories or Facebook or LinkedIn. So there's a lot of opportunities there. Do we have time for one more, Allie?
Yep, there's a few here.
I'll
And
try.
there's a there was a message back to you saying Ryan is dabbing and making TikToks, but I don't know what the purpose is. Is the response for
Awesome.
you?
Awesome, thank you.
Let me just have a look through here. This is the first opportunity to shift our thinking and our marketing strategies. What are some ways you can challenge your traditional marketing strategy?
Is your traditional marketing strategy digital or traditional? I'm guessing it's probably you've been investing in paper and print. And I would say in December or January, I started to do some research and look at the fact that marketing spends right now, like this is my teeter-totter, okay? Marketing spends are, and this is 4 months ago, are 50% traditional and 50% digital. And we're at this pivotal point where people are trying to figure out exactly where to put their money. And then the pandemic happened, okay? And I think the scales have really tipped. So if you're looking at adjusting your marketing strategy, make sure that everything you're doing in the marketing space ladders up to your business goals. So for example, if you need to increase your sales by 15% in 2021, what are the tactics you're going to use or the strategies you're going to use to make that happen, right? So I think traditional is kind of being rewritten right now, and what people are using going forward is changing day by day. One more.
We are starting a weekly runners yoga session. What is the best platform to engage our followers? Zoom or Instagram Live?
Oh my goodness, I would do both. You're getting a live yoga for runners. So you're doing an Instagram Live because you're trying to promote your brand. You're doing a Zoom session because you want engagement and you want to actually coach and help people. So I think I would do both. I could have easily had my phone running today. Oh, my phone, you can't see. There it is. I could have easily had my phone running today in order to have Facebook Live or whatever running at the same time, but it was just too much for me to manage. So I felt like just being here by myself, I didn't want to draw down the bandwidth and maybe make it so that no one could hear me. So anyway, so that would be the reason why we didn't do that, but I would say both. All right, Allie, can we have a drum roll? Can we have a drum roll? Can everybody have a drum roll? Yeah.
I don't know. Put everyone who commented, everyone's name into a virtual hat.
Okay.
And I apologize if I'm saying the name wrong. Valeska is the winner of the digital audit or 30 days of social media posts.
Okay.
So I will.
And are they from
Perfect.
Takata? Is that right?
Yeah, Takata for her.
Awesome. Love that place. Great. Very cool. Very, very cool. So, so Allie will get your contact information, and you can choose between a digital audit and 30 days of social media posts. Both are about the same value. So, yeah, you'll be happy with whichever direction you go.
And I just wanted to jump in and let everyone know tomorrow we are doing a coffee house masterclass session with the topic marketing around COVID-19. So if anyone has any questions, marketing questions specifically, feel free to join in and we can chat and answer more questions then and there.
Yeah, and the format tomorrow, we haven't totally defined it yet. So it'll really be
casual.
Yeah, it'll be driven. You don't have to wear pants. That's exactly what it is. It'll be really relaxed. We're going to use the first one to kind of define what it should look like going forward. So if nobody tunes in and then we know that it's not of interest to people, and we'll just see what kind of questions we get. Also, we might not have all the answers, right? So sometimes we have to go away and do our own research before we can come back and provide people with the right answers. I'd like to give you, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen so you can see me and escape. And where did you go? Hi. So on behalf of Carmella and Ali and myself, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody for tuning in today. It means a lot to me that you feel like valuable to be here. I would love to hear more about what you got out of the session, and I can't wait to start reading some of these comments, because it looks like there's an awful lot of them. So again, just thanks to everybody. Really appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you at the coffee house or at the next masterclass. So thank you again. Thanks, everybody.